King Charles launches brutal palace overhaul. It's being run like a hotel, and not a very good one, distant royals told to pay up or pack up in ruthless efficiency drive. Buckingham Palace is in full lockdown mode as King Charles III wages war on wastefulness, and what he furiously describes as royal residences being treated like a hotel, and not a very good one. In an explosive cost-cutting crusade that has left courtiers quaking and distant relatives scrambling for their checkbooks. The monarch has demanded sweeping reforms to an overstaffed, top-heavy household that one insider branded bloated beyond recognition. Serialized extracts from Robert Jobson's forthcoming book The Windsor Legacy, hitting shelves January 6. Reveal a king who has finally lost patience with decades of feather-bedded privilege. Sure, he lost his temper when nothing changed, a senior palace source confided to the Daily Mail. He returned from Balmoral expecting action and saw nothing had been done. Eventually they got the message. The result? Immediate redundancies, frozen vacancies, and a new palace mantra echoing through the corridors: value for money. Charles's ire has zeroed in on two glaring issues: a labyrinthine management structure, too many advisors to advisors, and the scandalous use of crown properties as glorified Airbnbs for non-working royals. Properties will be let at commercial rates going forward, and to people outside the family, the source confirmed. Where it is in a palace environment, they will of course be security vetted, but this is the end of grace and favor forever. Leading the hit list are Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who have been issued a blunt ultimatum: achieve full financial independence or lose their subsidized London pads. Beatrice's apartment in St. James's Palace and Eugenie's Ivy Cottage at Kensington Palace, long enjoyed at peppercorn rents, are now firmly in the crosshairs. The king isn't running a housing association for distant relatives, one courtier snapped. Echoing Charles's private fury that royal homes were being used as convenient crash pads for cousins twice removed. The purge began, symbolically, with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's eviction from Frogmore Cottage in 2023. An episode one aide described as just the tip of the iceberg. Since then, every grace and favor arrangement has been placed under forensic review. From forgotten flats in Kensington Palace to obscure wings at Windsor, no bolt hole is safe. Over time, that is all going to change, the source warned. Future tenants will pay market rates, potentially transforming royal estates into a multi-million-pound revenue stream for the crown. Inside the palaces, the atmosphere is described as Arctic. Long-serving staff have been handed redundancy packages, while remaining employees face stricter performance targets and modernized pension schemes designed to attract younger, sharper talent. This isn't about financial cuts, a Clarence House insider stressed. It's about getting value for money and efficiency. Sometimes less truly is more. Charles has personally overseen the cull of layers upon layers of management, demanding that decisions once buried under 17 committees now reach his desk within 48 hours. The king's frustration is rooted in decades of watching the household balloon. What began as a modest operation under George VI has morphed into a sprawling bureaucracy employing hundreds across multiple sites. Charles, who has quietly subsidized the Duchy of Lancaster to keep sovereign grant requests low, views the bloat as an insult to taxpayers already footing a £132 million annual bill. Yet there's method to the monarch's madness. Freed up resources are being redirected into competitive salaries and cutting-edge training programs to prevent the brain drain that saw talented press officers and digital staff flee to the private sector. We're moving from a feudal model to a professional one reformer told Jobson. The king wants the household to run like a FTSE 100 company, not a 19th-century country estate. For the York sisters, both high-achieving professionals. Beatrice as vice president at tech firm Affinity, Eugenie as a director at Hauser Wirth Gallery. The directive is less punishment than overdue reality check. Neither has ever drawn from the sovereign grant, but the perk of palace postcodes has lingered like a vestige of another era. Sources say Eugenie has already begun house hunting in Notting Hill, while Beatrice is exploring options nearer her Windsor base. Across the extended family, panic is spreading. Minor royals who once treated Clarence House apartments as weekend pied-à-terre are being issued formal notices. One distant cousin reportedly received a letter stating their informal arrangement would terminate in March 2026 unless a commercial lease was signed at £8,500 per month. Even the king's own siblings are not entirely immune. While Princess Anne and Prince Edward retain working royal status, their private estates are under similar efficiency audits. No one gets a free pass, a Buckingham Palace source insisted. The king has made it crystal clear, if you're not on the balcony at Trooping the Colour, you're not on the payroll. As the dust settles, Charles's vision of a leaner, greener, meaner monarchy is taking shape. Royal residences will generate income rather than drain it, staff will be empowered rather than entombed in red tape. And the firm will finally shed the image of a gilded retirement club for aristocratic also-rans. In the words of one battle-hardened courtier, His Majesty has waited 70 years to do this. He's not in the mood for half measures. For the first time in generations. The palace gates are slamming shut on freeloaders, and the sound is echoing all the way to Belgravia.